I'm a blackballed actress who spends her vacations feeding the sickly villain Iker, who's so hungry he picks up garbage. So I order him takeout. When Iker's textbooks were sold by his stepmother as scrap, I bought him storybooks. And when Iker was beaten up by a punk, I gave him a bunch of money to hire a bodyguard. When the money ran out, I was forced to take over the variety show and greeted with curses from all over the internet. The world merged and Iker became the biggest money maker of the program. The netizens were riveted and ready to scold me, and realized that all the other actresses had collapsed their rooms. Iker, the cool and indifferent gold master, followed me with his face. My mom died. I went back to do the aftermath. After things were done, all the essence seemed to be pulled out of my body. Since my debut, I have been positioned as can unfodder to hold up Mallory, the female star with resources and connections. Those unscrupulous big stars are all holding up one and stepping on the other, and my every word and action is overinterpreted and mocked. Many of the dark stories about me are empty, but the company is happy to see them. Mallory has a rich father to support. The company must hold. Mallory has a rich father, so the company has to support him, while I am a small transparent person with no power and no influence. So naturally I can be utilized. The more popular Mallory is, the more I am scolded as Mallory's control group. The same is the star of Jihunha Entertainment. Why Mallory is so likable and Annie is so annoying. Annie, get out of the entertainment industry. Annie is always rubbing our Mallory the wrong way. Mallory is too kind, and doesn't know how to say no. That's why she's always stuck with Annie. I entered the entertainment industry to make money to cure my mom. Even if I am scolded severely, I can endure it for my mom's illness. As long as I can make money. Now that my mom is gone, I don't have any motivation. When I opened my cell phone, it was still full of curses. And some people even cursed my mom. Said my mom didn't teach me well. Really boring. I turned off my cell phone and lay on my bed for I don't know how long. I don't eat, drink, or sleep. And I don't go to the bathroom. Maybe I'll see my mom in a few days. Snap. The cloth book bag my mom sewed for me when I was little hangs on a hook above the bed. Now the hook is loose, and the bag with the hook falls on my face. It hurt. I covered my head and cried from the pain. I opened the book bag and there was actually a slate inside. When I was a child, I had no father and only a mother. My mom was afraid that someone would bully me, so she put a brick in my bag. My mom probably didn't want me to go with her like that. My mom is a strong and spirited woman. She gave so much to raise me this way. If I give up on myself like this, my mom in heaven will jump down and scold me. I want to live. I'm so hungry. I felt hungry as an afterthought. I took my cell phone and ordered an egg fried rice and a lanzu ramen. A takeout came to my door, and I turned on the TV again to watch the anime I used to love watching as a kid. I suddenly realized that my old favorite hero and heroine worked into bitchy. Iker, the sickly villain I hated as a kid, was miserable. Iker's real mom died young, and after his dad married his stepmom, she threw away everything his mom left behind. Iker comes home from school to see that everything his mom left behind is gone. He goes through the garbage, only to find that it has already been taken away. Only the school bag that Iker's mom had sewn by hand remained, because Iker carries the bag to school. The bag is not at home. Little Iker hugged the cloth school bag that his mom left him and cried his eyes out. I hugged the bag that my mom left me and cried my eyes out. The egg fried rice was finished, but the lanzu ramen was not yet eaten. I put the ramen on the side by hand and cried myself to sleep. When I woke up, I was still hungry. I realized that my lanzu ramen was gone. I searched for it for half a day and couldn't find it. I vaguely remembered leaning against the bed to eat. The lanzu ramen seemed to be on the bedside table, and there seemed to be a cloth book bag padded underneath. So I was worried that there was a burglar in the house. The TV was still on, and there was an episode of Iker's childhood playing. Iker's stepmother treats him harshly and won't feed him. Iker, the sickly villain, Has to go through the garbage in order to survive. He carries bricks inside his book bag. On his way to school, Iker uses the bricks to fight with the wild dogs in the garbage for food. One day, he opens his school bag as usual and realizes that the slate bricks are gone from the bag, and there is an extra box of Lance ramen. He opened the box with some confusion. And noodles were a little lumpy and still looked delicious. My eyes widened. It was outrageous. But this Lance ramen really looked like the bowl I couldn't find. Iker glanced around. No one was paying attention to him. He stood and quickly finished the bowl of deliciousness that was rare for him. When he got home from school, Iker was asked by his stepmother to do all sorts of chores. From laundry to mopping the floor to washing dishes. Only there was no part for him at meal times. His dad is busy with work and isn't home all year round. But it's useless for his dad to be at home. According to the episode afterward, his dad only trusts his stepmom's words. I ordered 2 deluxe versions of pancakes and nuts for dinner. Iker started his homework after his chores. But he was too hungry to concentrate. 1 deluxe version of the pancakes was in my book bag. Iker seems to smell food. Opens his book bag. And in the middle of his textbook, he sees a huge pancake fruit with an amazing aroma. I opened my cloth book bag and the mixed pancake was missing from inside. I was certain that my book bag could really feed Iker. Iker carefully leans up against the door of his poorly closed room and quickly eats the fruit with his back against the door, after drying his mouth. Iker quickly and carefully finishes his homework. Before going to bed, Iker hugged his school bag and said, "Mommy, I miss you so much." I look at the tiny teenager on TV with some heartache. Although I am not your mom, I will take care of you. With my daily feeding, Iker no longer needs to pick up garbage to eat. I also resumed my normal 3 meals a day because I needed to feed Iker. The meat I lost on dieting as an actress grew back. Before my debut, the company forced me to lose 80 pounds. I gradually by the company PUA did not know how to eat. I looked in the mirror. In fact, my 80 pounds do not look good. I am fat instead of temperament before I was working as an actress. My mother also distressed me to thin. I only told my mom that I was the one who was willing to lose weight like this. I'm afraid she'll worry about me. Iker is at the age when he grows up, and his size grows like crazy with his food intake. This time I guarantee he'll grow to 180. Probably because he was malnourished as a child. He was only 170 as an adult when he was a sickly villain. As teenage Iker draws bars and grows taller. His original clothes get shorter, and he needs new ones. Naturally, Iker's stepmother can't buy them for him. I still didn't want to go out. But luckily the internet was advanced. I purchased all kinds of nice boys' clothes online and slipped them to him from my school bag. Of course, in order not to make his stepmother suspicious, Iker is wearing rags to go out. And on the way to secretly change into the clothes I bought. Iker's features are aristocratic and refined. And he was born with a bit of detachment. With the clothes I bought him. It's simply handsome. In the episodes I watched as a child, Iker was thin and inferior as a teenager. Long bangs covered Iker's forehead and eyes. He also always had an arched back. Looked very somber and was always alone in class. Now of course he wasn't exactly a sunny personality. But there were always little girls from outside the class, who came over to see him. The teacher thought he was a good student and made him class president. As I watched Iker shine in school, I felt a sense of joy that my son was growing up. Gabriella's best friend also dragged Gabriella over to see Iker. Gabriella and Iker are truly sinful. Gabriella is the daughter of her stepmother. After her stepmother's divorce, her evil mother-in-law won't let her visit her daughter. The stepmother is getting twisted inside and is worried that her daughter will not have a good life. Gabriella learns during a secret phone call with her mother that her mother's current son is named Iker. When Gabriella was 12 years old, her wicked mother-in-law finally died and Iker's stepmother finally met her daughter. Gabriella said to her mother, "That's a nice dress you bought for your brother." And Iker's stepmother was puzzled. And next day Iker is followed by his stepmother. When Iker came out of the public restroom after changing his clothes, The stepmother picked up and grabbed the strap of his school bag. The stepmother said indiscriminately, "How dare you steal money from the family to buy clothes? You money thief." Stepmother's voice is very sharp. Iker's face turned red. Iker's face turned red. My stepmother took off her high heels and hit Iker wall to wall. She cursed as she hit him. "You money thief. I work hard every day to earn money, and you take it all. You also give yourself to buy new clothes. Buy clothes. I let you buy. I let you buy." The stepmother is working hard to earn money. But it's all on behalf of Gabriella, the heroine. And not a dime is spent on Iker. Iker drew out the straps of his book bag, shielded the cloth bag under his body, and curled up on the floor, clenching his teeth. My heart ached and hurt so much that I wanted to go down the screen and flip my stepmother over for Iker. My heart ached until I pinched my palms red. Stepmom finally stopped venting. Stepmom went home and rummaged through Iker's room. She found the clothes I bought under Iker's bed and threw them all away. I was so angry that my chest hurt. The school wasn't big. And the morning's events quickly spread throughout the school. Iker entered the school and was pointed at along the way. Iker's lips were pursed and he didn't say a word. After school, Iker returns home and sees that his clothes, which he had folded and put under his bed, are gone. His stepmother sneered and said, "Money thief. You hurry up and mop the floor." Instead of doing his job, Iker walked out of the house with his school bag in his arms and went to the river, where Iker smiled at the bag and said, "Mom, I'm coming to get you." I sucked in a breath of cold air. "Iker, don't do anything stupid," Iker said with a smile as he walked slowly towards the center of the river. "I don't care if there is a reporter squatting next to my house. And I don't care if I go out with my face on. Whether I will be photographed and be satirized by the netizens." I rushed out of my house, ran to the kiosk, and bought a bunch of mineral water. When I got home, I emptied the mineral water and stuffed the bottles into my book bag. Iker walked to the middle of the river and found himself floating after the cloth book bag. The wind was facing a very friendly direction today, and the cloth book bag carried him to the shore. Iker stood up, hugged the bag and cried, "Mom, I know you don't want me to die. But I miss you so much, Mom." I followed suit and cried, "I miss my mom too." I wanted so much to make Iker's day that I wrote a note to Iker. Auntie came into my house familiarly and put the dumplings in her hand into my refrigerator again. Auntie said, "You child, you must not have taken good care of yourself. This is a hand-made dumpling. When you were a kid, you could eat 30 dumplings in one sitting." After the female lead turned against the gang leader, she realized that no one protects her, and then turned around and made up with the gang leader again. "Iker can't return these RMB to me. Tell Iker, use it as you wish." Iker used the money to learn programming. Ever since I got in touch with computers in the school computer room, Iker has been very interested in code. In order to repay Jason for his efforts, Iker tutored Jason after school every day. Jason really wasn't the learning type. Iker varies the questions every day, and Jason barely makes it to the general education level. In the episode I saw when I was a kid, Jason didn't get into high school, and went to a vocational high school and drove a motorcycle every day to pick up the heroin from school. Iker's payback should be sort of in place. By the time he reaches high school, Iker's features have grown. His face is more defined, and he looks even more handsome. The little girls who write him love letters are all over the school, and Iker usually politely rejects them. Until one day a fellow student found his campus card a little thick. When he opened the card holder, there was a campus card stacked behind it. The girl on that campus card had bright eyes and stunning eyes. The person who found the card asked Iker who the girl was. And Iker said seriously, "She is my goddess." In a moment, Iker has a crush on the goddess. And the goddess is also a big beautiful news spread all over the school. Iker said, "It's my goddess. Luckily I'm not from that world, or it would have been quite embarrassing. I hope he's just using me as a shield." After the college entrance exam, Iker successfully got into a university. After the college entrance exam, Iker said to his book bag, "Goddess sister, I don't need your money anymore." Iker can make money with programming. And still make a lot of money. Moved out of his stepmother's house. Iker cannot want my money. But cannot stop my determination to buy him Apple phones, new sneakers, clothes, hats. I can't help but get him the best college essentials. Unwrapping deliveries makes me happy. Seeing Iker happy makes me happier. I don't seem to need antidepressants anymore. A TV screen suddenly flickers. An unknown error has been monitored and the sneakers I bought for Iker won't transmit. A TV screen went black and I couldn't get it to work after half a dozen adjustments when my cell phone rang and it was my agent. My agent said that I had taken a 3-month break. And that I needed to pay liquidated damages if I didn't take any announcements for more than 3 months. Now a certain big gold owner named Mallory and I to record a variety show. Probably looking at my green leaf value. I couldn't afford to pay the penalty for breach of contract either. So I had to accept it. Hanging up the phone. The TV is completely unwatchable. But Iker has gone to college. Left his stepmother's house. Grown to 188. And hasn't blacked out. Probably doesn't need me to worry about it. The thought of going to a variety show and having to deal with all the vitriol around me, and the online mockery made me a bit distraught, and want to take some of my antidepressants. I rummaged through my drawers, and didn't find any. It's broken. Probably teleport it to Iker's world along with the pile. The star sister in Iker's mind is a depressive. What a shame. I simply lay flat until my agent sent someone to pick me up for the variety show shoot. I was veiled and had gained a lot of weight. The agent taunted me for a while and told me to make sure I ate less afterward. We were filming the documentary Variety, showed the country life of male gods and goddesses in a self-built house in a rural area. There are 3 men and 3 women. The other 2 actresses are Mallory, the stupid white rich girl, and Gabriella, the innocent little white flower. Gabriella? Why is the female lead from the anime here? The plot in the anime has the female lead relying on the male lead Adrian's resources. And the female lead has been smooth sailing in the entertainment industry. But the Iker I nurtured growing up shouldn't have had much to do with the male and female leads. I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to meet the real-life Iker if the female lead shows up. I just want to see how good Iker would be without being a sickly villain. Gabriella and Mallory are both stars with backgrounds. The costume photograph doe eyes are all around them in the show. And those male stars take care of them in various ways. As for me, it's good to be alive and swinging all over the place. The male celebrities are not very willing to get on me. The first installment was filmed in Dared. On the day the show aired its first installment, Iker, the chairman of Deaconess Capital, sent out a tweet. "My goddess is still as beautiful as ever. Men's and Goddesses Country Life program team." The microblogging exploded. And the netizens couldn't care less about scolding me. Everyone knows that Iker is a top diamond bachelor. Iker is handsome, not close to women, and has swept the foreign market with the internet program he developed. At present, Iker's wealth far exceeds that of the princes of the Beijing and Shanghai circles. The point is that Iker is also a member of the rich generation, and his parents are said to be dead. Only Iker is not close to women. Netizens cannot dig out a female mosquito beside Iker. The one who has the best relationship with him is Jason, the bodyguard captain. When interviewed, Iker was also asked about his feelings. Iker said, "When I was young, I had a crush on a girl. But I was separated." The whole internet is looking for Iker's young white moonlight. Now that Iker has taken the initiative to tweet, the range of girls has been narrowed down to me, Gabriella and Mallory, with me naturally playing the role of soy sauce. The tweets are divided into 2 main factions. One faction supports Gabriella. Netizens dug out that Gabriella and Iker went to the same school. The supporters say, Gabriella is the white moonlight, is the nail in the coffin. Mallory this rich second generation, and Iker have no intersection. Gabriella was Iker's first date as a teenager. The other faction is strongly in favor of Mallory. Mallory's grandmother's family is in Iker's hometown. Mallory also hinted in his tweets that when he was a child, he would go to his grandmother's house for winter and summer vacations. Mallory hasn't been back home since her grandmother died. Supporters say that Gabriella can be lost if she's white moonlight. Iker can definitely find someone. Only Mallory was the light of Iker's youth. Only lost in the light. I have to say, both factions are very reasonable. Iker's tweet successfully brought fire to the program. Netizens couldn't care less about scolding me. Only I didn't know any of this. I was already depressed. So I just deleted all my social media programs. After filming the program, I went to my room to lie down. Only my room was a bit humid, and there were a bit too many mosquitoes. We don't usually stay in that rural self-built house except for filming the show. Gabriella, Mallory, and the 3 male stars happen to be staying at the only 4-star hotel in town. And the rest of the crew and I are staying at the small hotel next door. Only I was assigned a room with no merchants. And I didn't bother to object. As long as I could sleep. I didn't sleep for a while before I was awake and by mosquitoes. I opened the door to ask for an insecticide spray at the front desk. When I opened the door, I saw a long-bodied man leaning against the wall next to my room door. The man was wearing a white shirt and had deep features and a few detached eyebrows. I recognized it right away. The man was Iker, the child I had raised in Cloud. When Iker saw me, his indifferent amber eyes rippled with a layer of smiles. "Annie, I found you." Probably because after the age of 18, Iker was never able to contact his star sister again. The last thing Iker got was a box of about paroxetine for depression. The star sister seemed to be fighting depression. Add to that the fact that Annie left without saying goodbye. And Iker was worried. Though Annie has said she and Iker are not in the same world latitude, Iker has stubbornly tried to find her for 10 whole years. Until recently, Iker realized that his world more Annie was scolded badly. Iker has finally found Annie. He doesn't want to just find her. Iker wants to help her like Annie once helped Iker. Iker is going to do Annie justice with this variety. Gabriella was shoved in by accident. Gabriella's boyfriend Adrian is the crown prince of the capital circle. Except that the Murong family's industrial transformation has been unsuccessful, and has been going downhill in recent years. Iker, however, relies on cutting-edge technology to become a capital giant. And other family heads have to be polite in front of Iker. Snap! I closed the door behind me. I looked in the mirror. In my pajamas. My hair a mess. And mosquito bites on my face. No way. I can't let Iker see my star sister like this. I pulled out my makeup and quickly applied it. I pull out the only dress that isn't crumpled from under the suitcase again. Opening the door again. Iker wasn't there. Iker was probably disappointed to have just seen me in that sloppy state. He wasn't obligated to wait outside the door for me either. I closed the door behind me. The moment before it closed, a foot stepped in and Iker squeezed through the doorway into my room. He was carrying flower water and mosquito repellent in his hand. I, on the other hand, ran out of the room. I was already in a lot of blackmail myself. And if I was caught on camera with a man breaking into my room at night, I'd be drowned in spit. Iker frowned and surveyed my room before making a phone call. After a while, my agent called to inform me of my change of residence. She said the gold owner was a great benefactor and had airlifted over many caravans where the artists and staff were living in the caravans. I asked Iker, "Are you an investor in our program?" After I lost contact with Iker, I knew that Iker would definitely go well in this life. After all, he is tall and handsome and also has a high IQ. There is no blackening and no internal conflict. I have confidence in him. But I didn't expect this kid to be so successful. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. It seemed to be more pleasing than his own success. Iker also laughed along with me. This big man seems to be still juvenile in front of me. I said, "Iker, I am very proud of you." Iker said, "Star sister, I miss you so much." Iker stepped forward and hugged me. Iker's body trembled a little. I didn't push him away. My world and Iker's world flow differently. In Iker's eyes, I probably hadn't been contacted in a long time. And my TV had only been broken for 2 weeks. Iker seemed to have regained some sanity and loosened his grip and said, "Annie, why don't you hurry to the RV and rest?" In order to prevent someone from filming me with a strange man in the middle of the night, I asked Iker and I to go upstairs separately. Luckily, I was the only one living on the first floor, and no one would see the scene just now. I got into the caravan and quickly fell asleep. The battle of the white moonshine on the internet intensified, until someone exposed evidence of Gabriella's schoolyard bullying. That's something Iker didn't expect. The capital behind Mallory and Adrian's Fianchi's family teamed up to break the news. Gabriella was bullying people and being ungrateful for her daughter. Photos and videos of Gabriella bullying others with the gangsters were exposed. There was also evidence of Gabriella being ungrateful. Iker didn't go dark this time. The stepmother didn't get killed, but she got herself incurably ill. And Iker's own father died in an accident before that. Iker's own father had died in an accident before that. And the stepmother had given all her money to her baby daughter Gabriella. When she became terminally ill, her daughter didn't give her any money for her treatment or even visit her. The stepmother was probably discouraged and told everyone about it. So a lot of people in town knew about it. The townspeople said that Gabriella had taken her mother's life-saving money. It was because of this money that Gabriella entered a Noble University and met Adrian. Adrian probably couldn't have imagined that there was such a side to the innocent little white girl he loved. I woke up in the morning and followed the staff to the hotel to pick up a few other people. Through the whispers of the staff, I basically knew that something seemed to have happened to Gabriella. And I saw Adrian, the main male character, arguing with Gabriella, the main female character, in front of the hotel. In the end, Adrian slapped Gabriella in the face and drove off in his Porsche. And Gabriella looked miserable standing alone in front of the hotel with a pale face. Before, the staff and a few male celebrities would have gone to comfort her. Today, those few male celebrities are indifferent. The staff have come together in front of Mallory to offer attentions. The broker asked behind me, "Do you know the chairman of Deaconess Capital?" I shook my head. At that time, I really didn't know that Iker had founded Deaconess Capital. I only knew that Iker was our program group gold master. The broker whispered, "I've blurred my eyes. I think I saw Iker coming up from the first floor yesterday." How could Iker like Annie? The agent immediately ran forward to kiss Mallory's ass with the crowd. If Mallory gets on this line, there will be a lot of benefits for Mallory to become Mrs. Iker in the future. Under the stars, Mallory became more and more unscrupulous. During the second recording of the program, Mallory treated Gabriella and I like cattle and horses. The 3 male celebrities. One pinched her legs, one pounded her back, and one fanned her. The full version of the video was released before the crew finished editing. The entire internet was shocked that the stupid rich second generation actually had this face in private. Mallory's background was also revealed. And Mallory kept saying that her father was a tycoon. Mallory has always said that her father is a rich man. But he is indeed a rich man. But he is a godfather, not a real father. At the end of the day, Mallory is relying on her body to get to the top. The rich man's godfather's original wife is suing to get back the money Mallory has gotten from her godfather over the years. Netizens were still shocked by Gabriella's melon. Now they are shocked by another melon. Netizens don't know who to scold, so they just scold both together. Iker didn't come out to defend Mallory and Gabriella. With Iker's current strength, it was easy to cover for either of them by capitalizing on them. The netizens suddenly realized that Iker's white moonlight is definitely not Mallory or Gabriella. Probably me. That's when the full version of the video was released with all of my previous maliciously edited black material. The full version of the video showed me being serious, friendly to the staff every time, only to have some easily misunderstood bits cut out by some unscrupulous blogger. Comments from the poor students my mom and I sponsored to speak up on my behalf were finally seen. Someone else found records of previous donations my mom and I had made. My mom and I aren't rich. But when there's a disaster somewhere, we always donate. A colorful egg of the new game of Deaconess Holding was found by the first player to pass the game. And the egg was the first scene Iker formed when I first started out. The netizens dug out the scenes I had done. My resources are not very good. But my acting skills are really great. Black fans are blinded by anger. Netizens and passers-by agreed. Annie is Iker's white moonlight. Annie is worthy of being Iker's white moonlight. Living in the 2G world. I know nothing about this. I was watching a dog fight in town. Suddenly a bunch of staff members gathered around. Someone gave me an umbrella. Someone fanned me. Someone peeled an apple for me. I didn't quite fit in. Until Iker came along. The people gathered around me consciously stepped aside. And Iker carried egg fried rice and Lanzhou ramen. Iker was carrying egg fried rice and Lanzhou ramen, which he could probably tell I loved by the frequency with which I fed him. I've been under a lot of pressure lately with the variety show, and I really haven't been eating properly. Iker said. Annie. Go eat in the car. The staff was watching from a distance nearby. Being surrounded by people, I was a bit unable to eat. Iker got someone to clear the scene and coaxed me in a low voice to let me eat a few more bites of food. I had watched this kid grow up. How could I let him coax me? I still finished the egg fried rice in my hand. Iker finished his Lanzhou ramen. Iker said, "No one will scold you, Annie." I took Iker's cell phone and looked at the online comments. I said to Iker, "Is the variety show not going to work? Gabriella and Mallory have been banned. So the variety show is probably not going to happen. I don't know what Iker is doing with this variety show. Is there no place to spend the money?" Iker actually consulted a psychiatrist. And being close to the land and nature is conducive to healing from depression. When the crew withdrew, we both stayed in the village. Iker dragged me to go fishing in the river, picking vegetables in the field, and feeding pigs in the pigsty. My heart did slowly open up. After Mom left, I seemed to feel a sense of connection to reality again. After coming back from the village after the whole thing, my circular blew up. It just so happened that my contract expired and I didn't renew it. I didn't take a single announcement and left my old company. When I was free again, I still got all kinds of announcements. I shrugged them off and took on work that really honed my acting skills. But Iker seemed to have a hard time. He was always coming over to visit. I always asked him to come less often. It was only when I connected to the internet that I realized that Iker hadn't caught up with me yet. And that Eder was coming up with ideas for Iker online. He used to think he couldn't find me. Now that he can see me, he's content.